Hello everyone and welcome to this video on Intro to Computers. My name is Mr. Hennant and I see every sixth grade class one period per week. So let me just walk you through this slide presentation here. That's last year's video. I'll change it out. I'm going to start with the grading policy and then I will get to the requirements for all three marking periods. So the grading policy. First, you should view all the work as one large project, not individual assignments. Each week I do give work and each week I do grade work. But think of it more as a progress report to keep students on pace. So what you're going to be doing is each marking period right here, you're going to build your way to 100 points, 10 points at a time. So each week you have some work that I will grade for 10 points. I will accept all work for full credit until I have to turn my grades in. I'll give exact dates each marking period when I know them. What this means for you is I'm going to update Jupyter each week. If you see a zero, don't worry. It's not that big of a deal. It just means someone fell a little bit behind. You can still do the work. I will still grade it next week in class, and kids will still get full credit. So all of the assignments have videos with instructions that say exactly what I want. Kids can work at home, and I would expect some students will likely have to. We have some time in class, but we're also having discussions about other things. So some students will likely need to work at home to keep up, or maybe not. But again, if you see a zero, it's not that big of a deal. It's all one big project. We're going 10 points each week. I'll take it. I'll take credit or work for full credit right up until the very end. Now, I do only grade work in class. This lets me have one-on-one conversations with students who need help. And to this, I should add, I wish that I could turn off letter grades and percentages in Jupyter. I get about a dozen emails a week from parents who see a zero and their 100% A drops to a 75C or like a 67D or something like that. And people rightly panic. But it's really just not that big of a deal. Those letter grades, those percentages really don't mean anything because, again, I take work for full credit right up until the very end. Just whatever you're missing, finish it, and I'll grade it next week in class. All right, with that, let me get on to the requirements for each marking period. So for the first marking period, you can see the rubric here, the syllabus here. There's 10 weeks times 10 points. Each week, students will get 10 more points and build their way to a 100. This is what I did last year when I saw students for a double period. This is my first year teaching students for a single period, my 19th year here. And moving from a double to a single, we'll see about this. I'm going to try to push through as much of this as I can. In the coming weeks, I will almost certainly have to adjust expectations and grading, but I still would like to get through as much of this as I can. So we're going to be talking about digital citizenship, which is safety, privacy, and responsibility on our screens. I typically use these videos as jumping off points. Now, some of the older ones you're seeing here, like with flip phones, we cover catfishing. This is how fast information can spread online. This is when people get really enraged online. People do read your profiles if you keep things public, so be careful. This is a little more about online drama. Here we have sextortion. Unfortunately, we do have to get into these sorts of things. Online predators. We talk about cyberbullying. So we will be covering these ideas in the next few months. And as we work, we're going to work through the G Suite, the apps that are available in Google Classroom. Now, we started out the first week was with Yeet Yahoo Yak. That was basically teaching kids how to create and attach files in Google Classroom just to make sure they can do their work and get credit for it. But then we're going to get into Google Sheets. where we collect data, we do some formulas. This is just to get them thinking about how many hours per week they spend on their screens, and we'll graph the results here. Google Forms, they'll pick a topic. The student did internet addiction, any topic related to digital citizenship, survey their classmates, and then use those results when they come over to their slide presentation. And I know they have some experience with slides, most students do, but then we do teach like diagrams, tables, and we bring the data over from their survey, create a flow chart. So hopefully they'll be learning a little bit more in Google Slides. And then finally, with Google Drawing, they will pick a topic related to digital citizenship and create a poster. So that pretty much takes care of the entire first marking period for the 100 points there. For the second marking period, we are going to build a website using HTML and CSS. This is all the HTML up here, and I'll get rid of the CSS. Sorry, get rid of the CSS just real quick. This is what HTML looks like. It's just the basic framework, the skeleton of a site. And then when I put the CSS back, that's when you see all the fancy colors and fonts and whatnot. So students will pick a topic related to the rest of their curriculum. This is actually 7th grade, but I let it slide. And it's basically a research report done in website fashion. I teach each little bit each week, and there you go, 10 times 10 equals 100. That's the entire second marking period. Finally, the third marking period, I should say a 3, this is where students get to choose what they want to do. So some students will continue with coding. We've got more HTML, more CSS, JavaScript, maybe a little bit of Python, but most students are a little bit burnt out and they choose to do some graphic design. This is a channel on YouTube, One Day One CAD. Students can pick anything from this page. Here's the sunfish here, and there's the sunfish that one of the students created, so they'll do some 3D modeling. This is Photoshop. A student pasted his face here. They will be learning about ancient Egypt this year. This is one little square in a larger painting. So what we do is we take a painting, I cut it up into a grid. Each student does one of the squares, and then we put it all back together and see how close we were able to get. That's Illustrator. We also do a little bit of video. So we have a green screen that kids can use. There's a voiceover here that you're not hearing. This child chose Broadway musicals to review, which is fine. And the kids get a little video experience. So that's just some of what you will see in the third marking period. And yeah, that's 10 times 10 for the final 100 on the third marking period. And that concludes the video. Thank you for watching.